The old lady, more like the frustrated lady, as Juventus lose in a historic way to Israeli side Maccabi Haifa. A little bit of information for you. Juve have now only won 2 of their last 9 matches in all competitions. The last 4, of course, includes Bologna, Maccabi Haifa. But then after that, they lose to AC Milan and again to the Israeli side. This is not good for Max Allegri. Janusz, Michallik, your thoughts on Juventus? What is happening? What will continue to happen to the Italian side?
Well, quite frankly, I mean, it was really embarrassing, wasn't it? I mean, the first 45 minutes in particular. In the second half, it got a little bit better. I think there's some substitutions being made. Maybe Maccabi, knowing that they're 2-0 up, probably didn't open themselves up as much as they did in the first half, didn't attack as much. And of course, that as bad as Juventus are, there's going to be some sort of an answer here. But it's a problem that's been going on for a long, long time now with Max Allegri, his second time around for Juventus, and his pragmatism, I suppose, is for everyone there to see. There's deeper problems at Juventus as well, but it starts there. And I know Juventus don't want to let him go. There's a big payoff, I suppose, but it's an even bigger payoff if you out of the group stage, if you don't make it from the group stage, and if you don't make it to the next edition of the Champions League, which, by the way, when you look at the form in the league as well, a big loss to Milan, no chance there really for the most part. You're looking at the situation where Juventus are in 8th place right now. Yes, you can say it's early in the season, but that's now what? I think it's 10 points to Napoli, who's been absolutely wonderful. I think 7 points to Udinese in that 4th spot. It's still very much doable, you can say, but I think psychologically, everybody talking about Max Allegri, some players already probably want him out, and the ones that didn't, if everybody keeps repeating that, I think it's going to be difficult for Max Allegri. So it's a massive decision to make. It doesn't bode well. This team is just absolutely too good for that. I still believe in that. We can talk about the issues they've had in the midfield today, for example. Did you see? Quadrado on the left-hand side, McKennie on the right. Why? There's probably some explanation to that, but it's unusual. Why would you put Quadrado there? So all over the shop, and my goodness, in the first 15-20 minutes, every time Maccabi attacked, that looked like a goal. Actually, Szczęsny was pretty good on a couple occasions before he conceded goals.
Yeah, Chesney kept it way less than what the scoreline actually resulted. From your excellent point about Max Allegri, by the way, everybody, in the last 6 months, Max Allegri's Juventus played 17, won 4, drawn 5, lost 8. That's relegation form, Janusz. Let me ask you something. There's a lot of focus on Allegri, and rightly so, and the squad. But do you think the bigger magnifying glass should be on the chairman, Andrea Agnelli, because he's stuck with Allegri and he made that replacement after an already mistake, which was Andrea Pirlo? What do you think of the chairman and his decisions in the last 2 years?
Well, look, I mean, here's a man that desperately wanted to be in the Super League. He wanted that Super League so if you want to play amongst the best, you have to spend the money. I understand why the Super League was there, because more income would have come regardless if you're good, better, and different, right? That was the idea. But if you look at it fundamentally, you have to be able to spend if you want to keep up. And I know there's a big gap between Serie A and, say, Premier League, but still, this is a massive club that was winning Serie A for fun. You do have your own stadium, which helps, because we all know it's a big issue for many Serie A teams because of the local governments. And I don't want to get it deep in the weeds there, but yes, he's got to fix it. And it's his problem, but Agnelli's not going to leave Juventus. There's no chance of that happening. So he has to make that tough decision, because ultimately, if he doesn't make it, as I said, to the Champions League next season, and if he's out right now, he's going to lose much more money. So he's got to fix this. There's some issues, of course, in terms of Chiesa not being there. Paul Pogba hasn't played the whole season, so I'm not sure we can say they miss him, because we don't know what they're missing just yet. But Allegri, just his decision, his pragmatism, you got to let these boys go, Luis. You know how that is. Let them play a little bit. There's talent. Milik, Vlahovic. If Milik's scoring, he's playing. One game he doesn't score, he's out on the bench, right? You have to be consistent with his decision. What about somebody like Manuel Locatelli, who came in the second half, looked good? I mean, this was the player that I think everyone was talking in European Championships when Italy were winning it. Locatelli was superb. Where's Locatelli? What happened to him, right? I mean, we don't even know if he's bad because it doesn't seem like Max Allegri, has faith in him. So we could go on and on and on. No matter what happens, no matter what the reason we give here, I think you and I both believe that Juventus, even with everything they have right now, are better than they're showing. And by the way, they're going to Benfica next match day. And that's not going to be easy, regardless of what happens today against PSG. Because, if they play to another draw, that may be just enough for them. They're going to say, okay, Juventus lost. Thank you. Yeah, draw is good enough for both.
Draw is good enough for both. And some very good points there, including the fact that right now, at this moment, Juventus, who are 8th in Serie A and also not looking like they might qualify out of their group in the group stages of the Champions League, have Benfica and PSG next. Whose issue is it? Max Allegri, Agnelli's, the squad? We'd love to hear from you. Janusz, Michallik, Echegaray. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.